And so if we look at a business like Amazon, right? And Jeff, Jeff is a gifted communicator, and he's a terrific storyteller, a great writer, and he has written great letters, and he's articulated reasonably well, I would say probably very well, things that he wanted to share with his shareholders and investors. But he also kept many things close to his vest, and he didn't want to share many things because he understood really well that if he were to share those things, Amazon would end up being at a disadvantage because it would invite scrutiny and competition and so on. And if we go back to Jeff at Amazon, they stumbled onto cloud. They were kind of feeling their way in the dark, and Amazon's DNA is to throw a lot of stuff against the wall. And most of the stuff they throw against the wall fails. It doesn't work. But they also don't spend much on the stuff that they throw against the wall. So they have kind of these small bets. They are kind of controlled experiments, so that if they fail, they're not really going to affect the company that much. And if they work, then they end up creating incredible new businesses and business models. And stumbling along in the dark, they started to basically think about, look, they said, look, we've got this great technology for selling all these things. Can we open this technology up to others on the internet to sell stuff too? That was the kind of the beginnings of how they were thinking about it. And there was a lot of pushback within his management team saying, no, these are our crown jewels. We really can't go to like a Barnes and Noble or someone we compete with and just give them our technology because, these are our crown jewels. And Jeff was visionary enough to tell those people in his company that, look, if Barnes and Noble has advantages in selling books at a lower price than us and making more money than us in that endeavor, just because we enabled the technology end of things for them, they deserve to be the ones selling those books. So he said it's perfectly fine if they cannibalize us, because that means that they have an advantage in an area that we don't, and we can become, great sellers of pickaxes in the gold rush. We don't necessarily need to be the guys with the pans on the river or whatever. And so they started opening up different aspects. When they had to open their platform up, it required them to redo, and it was very painful for them to redo all their spaghetti code into APIs, which could be then allowed for third parties to write to the APIs. And then eventually that over time led to what became AWS, because they just started to find out that they could do more, and then it didn't really need to be competitors, and it didn't really even need to be people who were selling stuff. It could be people trying to do different things in the cloud, and it just kind of incrementally, they finally got there. But many years before they came out and said that, hey, here's AWS, here's a new business, blah, 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 they had figured out that they had a golden goose. And they also figured out that they were ahead of anybody else with that golden goose. And Jeff also understood that the golden goose really did not give him a lot of competitive advantage, but that if he was able to keep his competitors at bay and get a time advantage and scale in stealth, it would make it very hard for the others eventually to catch up to where he is. So they flew under the radar. And if you look at his writings, etc., they really don't talk about the cloud. Even though they already had customers and they already had a business and all of that, I think till like 2015 or 2016, somewhere around then, that's when the whale finally surfaced. And the first time Amazon actually acknowledged that they had a business unit called AWS, and they actually released some top line numbers for AWS.